Hi, it's Dr. Allison here. Q&A with Dr. A, questions and answers with a female spiritual teacher. And today's focus is on discipline. Another way to say that is will. So there are many different ways I can go about this information, yeah? So the background as a personal trainer, I can go about it there. The background as a certified behavioral change specialist, as a meditation teacher, as a yoga teacher, as a person focused onto the subtle energy system, as an energy medicine practitioner and founder of a system that combines energy medicine and mindfulness. So this is not meant to make it more complex. You know how you see those memes on social media that say, just go for it, or live the life of your dreams, or any inspiration that is out there about going for it and having the will to live your best life ever. That's the name of my radio show. Create your best life ever! That's how I always said it. So it's not meant to be made more complex, but there is an understanding of the way the back of our consciousness, the back of the house consciousness, as well as the way that our subtle energy system flows, that we can actually get more help and support from it once we know this information and work with it. So the first thing is the ego mind. So ego mind is a term from meditation. It's about the ego, the identity, what people point to and say, look at her, that's what she's like, or that's what he's like, or that's what she's like, with the labels, and that functions as your identity. And there's a lot of game playing that's done in order to adhere to keeping that personality or identity in place. So the ego mind doesn't like change, and the ego, again, is that part of who you've known yourself to be. Attaching it to mind now brings in the way that the mind typically works, that we find out when we meditate. So ego mind together is about how the mind typically functions, and especially with locking in our identity, and staying the same. So when you're using will for change or creating something new, knowing that your ego mind is naturally going to want to stick to something similar and familiar is one way to observe your thoughts as you go for it anyway. So there's another teaching, and one of my favorites of all time is my first meditation teacher who said that to me. So let's put in an example, like let's go for, if somebody's going for weight loss and they want to eat, their ego mind saying, eat 3 pieces of pizza. And do the exact opposite of what your ego mind is meant to do, is that you only eat 2. And then if you want to develop extra will, you eat 1 3/4. So at least you don't take that last bite finishing off the second piece, yeah? So doing the exact opposite of what your mind wants to do, and then some, like going in the opposite direction, really develops will. I have a discipline of a stallion, and it's between, I think, who I inherently am, as many who know me would say, as well as my decades spent meditating and exercising. So let's move to exercise. Exercise is a really great way to flush your system with happy hormones that give you more tendency or propensity to go for what you desire, and the kinds of hormones that are released from exercise and what you strengthen in your system obviously is willpower. What's less obvious though is the chakra that we're calling upon. So that third chakra is really key in having more willpower. It's basically the one that we manifest from. It's our power center in the traditional interpretation of the 7 chakra column. And in my second book, I'm racing through this just a bit because I'm in the midst of leading retreats, virtual again, instead of having my students meet me over in Glastonbury, UK. So I'm a little time crunched, so pardon. The willpower that happens in the third chakra is why I titled my book, in part, my second book, Vibrational Upgrade, A Conspiracy for Your Bliss, Easing Humanity's Evolutionary Transition. Because when we're given inspiration, and as many of you know who've already listened or are following my work, intuition is known to not just come from the third eye or the crown chakra above the head, like in your head only. It's when you feel inspired about something. It's when you feel uplifted about, like, yeah, go here, do this. And that upliftment to do something new naturally releases power in your third chakra. So that means extra life force. So your third chakra, the one that's relied on for manifesting, actually gives you more life force to go for that something new. And if you don't go for it, then you end up suppressing it and end up depressing it or depressed. So we have natural wiring in our system to make it easier for us to go for what we want. The second chakra that's really involved here is the fifth chakra, which is the chakra around choice. And I noticed in around 2016, and I wrote about it in my second book and a little bit in my most recent book, Reasonable Dragons, but I moved on from there, is that this is the co-creators channel. As we're stepping into this new paradigm, it's all about the power in our choice. And when we don't feel like we can choose something new, or we're not seeing new possibilities, that's when we go to clear the back of the house consciousness. So in the back of the house consciousness, I mean unconscious and subconscious. And there's estimates, as I've said in another video, that 85%-ish of our daily choices are made subconsciously. We're not even watching ourselves make the choice. We're not even observing our mind saying, yes, play this video. So if we clear those, what I've seen through my years of working with people is there's all of these self-sabotaging blocks. So if they're going for something that they want, and the will force dies out, or you let yourself get distracted and you don't carry through with the focus or the will, a lot of the time that's due to self-sabotaging thoughts. So you're procrastinating, or you're letting yourself get distracted, or you're letting yourself care what other people think as you go for this new thing. So another key here is to not tell people, not spray it out there what it is you're going for, but keep it to yourself and allow in understanding the way something new seeds between the feminine and the masculine energy. Allow it to seed internally in the black of the yin yang before it then starts to become manifest in the white or the yang of the yin yang. And then as you go for it, and you may be losing some will force, so you may get distracted because you're starting to worry about what will happen if you actually allow yourself to have this or achieve this or manifest this. Not being concerned what other people think, as well as not letting yourself get taken off course by concern about who you'll be with this new manifestation. The ego mind loves to project thoughts, loves to project fears, because it wants to keep you safe, it wants to keep you in the status quo. So the more that you can ignore your thoughts and listen to your heart and ask for guidance, organically going step by step towards a goal, instead of always projecting into the future, the end result, and you're not even there yet. You're on like if there's 20 steps to the manifestation, which is around average, the first 2 steps are all that's been taken so far. Like maybe you've contacted somebody about that new job, and then maybe they've contacted you and you have an interview, and that, or you're just starting to look, you're realizing you want a new job and you're letting yourself admit that and take action now on that. All of the other stuff, like what will it be like once you change jobs? What will it be like when you announce to your current boss you're leaving? What will your colleagues think? What will your family think? What will the new salary level be like? All of that projection and noise, just ignore it. And so what helps, I've noticed, and it's one of the greatest strategies I've seen when my guidance brought through me, my signature program, Magic Manifestation and Money Flow, and my mastermind program, is to be able to stay with people on a daily basis as they're going about these manifestations that their hearts are desiring for them, whether it be a new revenue stream, or it be a new life dream, a big dream, or it be switching jobs, or it be boosting their current business, whatever it might be. There's clearings that I'm constantly doing on a daily basis to help them stay tracked, so that they're not adhering to or listening to the thoughts. But that's only if you can hear them. If 85% of our daily choices are made from the parts of our mind we can't hear, you bet it takes some reconfiguring of your belief system and reconfiguring of your consciousness in order to allow yourself to actually allow the manifestation of the big dream to happen. I'm currently working with a client on a multi-million-dollar business deal, for example, and she's coordinating with somebody else, and there are all these delays that are, beyond normal, because the person she's working with isn't as open to receiving, and he's a little bit worried about like who's he going to be when all of this comes through. He's so used to not having big success. So there's a lot of clearings that I've seen have to happen on the path of allowing oneself to actually stay the course. You're invited to check out the Chakra Attunement audio series on my website. The 3rd and the 5th were the ones I was focusing on today, as well as look into the Open the Drawbridge call on the Work With Me page, and come on to an Open the Drawbridge call with one of my team members and see about entering my signature program, so you can ensure as robustly as possible that you stay tracked towards this goal, because I'll get your back. And when you give up on yourself and when your mind starts saying no, I'll keep holding the yes for you by running clearing so that your yes stays more accessible to you, and your fire, which is the element of the 3rd chakra, stays fired up. And so that there's also more ease, because your heart chakra is calling out to the field of possibilities, unlimited possibilities, to please bring in synchronicities to make this easier for me, as your heart singing. So it's not pushing and forcing and efforting. Instead, it's collapsing in front of you, out in front of you, so that more possibilities can come in, and it's easier than you ever would have thought before. One last thing is, if you're going for a big dream that you're really excited about, your mission, that's going to help keep you tracked. Blessing.